Good morning and welcome to Moral Conservative here. I want to share something about the effects of the Trump victory. Tuesday, we had a very profound election here in the United States of America, and we are starting to feel like the air is feeling a little bit fresher and the water's more tasty, and just seems like people are turning upward. And the reason for that is because we were very close to the process of losing our country. America was on a downhill track. Another 4 years of this leaning and slouching and running toward Gomorrah and the socialist agenda was going to destroy America. Well, guess what? Donald Trump has won. And when Donald Trump has won, Donald Trump is going to come back and do everything he said he would do. This will make America a better place. Why did he win? I believe he won for a simple reason: the economy. You remember Carville, the old Louisiana bayou creature that loved to talk and get on and talk about the economy? Remember him? It's the economy, stupid. Oh, you got to worry about the economy. That's how you win elections, with economy, stupid. He was a confidant of Bill Clinton, and he talked about the economy, that's what won presidential elections. Well, folks, it was about the economy, and it was one of the main reasons that Donald Trump won this election. People were concerned about really three things: the economy, inflation, high prices, whether they were going to be able to afford to pay their rent, pay their car payment, pay their credit cards off. Secondly, they were worried about peace and safety. Wars, rumors of wars running rampant. They were concerned about these issues. These were the issues they were concerned about primarily. And bringing that in, peace and safety, add the border into that, because that was a prime concern. We're seeing people flooding our country, people that have no desire to conform to American ideas or to live the American dream. They were coming over here wanting to get free handouts and change our country. Many of them. Some may have been coming for the right reason, but you don't have millions of people flooding your border illegally. And that's what they are: illegal aliens, and they need to be stopped, sent back home, or put in jail. That may sound cruel, but what Trump talks about, deportation, I am for 100%. People that want a better life and want to come here is one thing. Overrunning the border is a totally different thing. It is unlawful. So you had peace and safety. You had that. Had the economy, and thirdly, I think the reason that she lost was because she continued to push the woke agenda, the left-wing Luciferian woke agenda, from gender mafia, as I like to call it, because they try to cancel everybody that doesn't agree with them. They operate like a mafia. The LGBTQ, the transgender, and the surgeries for kids and young adults, that is an anathema to exactly what the founding principles of the United States of America is. We're talking about freedom and liberty, and to live a good life. And you can't be cutting off people's body parts and expecting that to be something that people in this country, a moral country for the most part, would accept. So the woke agenda, the pushing of all that pushed us, led us to socialism, America has rejected. I know it was a close race, but in effect, it really wasn't. Donald Trump won the popular vote easily. He won the electoral college vote easily. He has a mandate to govern this country. And I think when and if we finalize this election we have the Senate, we are going to win the House, the agenda for Donald Trump should be rubber stamped and put in there. I want to mention some things about the victory too. Let me back up and say one more thing about Kamala. This was proof that DEI doesn't work. She was a diversity hire. She was selected as vice president as a diversity hire. She ran for president as a DEI hire, meaning she had done nothing. She won not one vote to be president back during the before the 2020 election. Not one vote. Not one vote. She was put in as vice president because she was supposedly black, and she was never African American. She wasn't. She's part Indian, part Puerto Rican. So she wasn't black. She was put there as a woman. So she was the ultimate DEI hire, even to lying about her heritage to get in. And we saw that for someone that had spent 4 months as vice president, she knew very little about anything. She didn't even try to, she didn't talk about one policy. The only policy she talked about was abortion. Abortion, abortion, abortion. That's the only policy that this woman had, was abortion. You can't win a national election pushing death, pushing destruction. You just can't do it. So what Trump did was appeal to the more positive, believe it or not, because a lot of people think he's a very negative person. He's not. He was truthful with you. The economy's broke. I'm going to fix it. The border is broke. I'm going to fix it. Wars are breaking out. We've lost our voice in the world. I'm going to fix it, and he will fix it. He will fix it. Now, here's the important part. In 2020, there was at least 15 million, 12 to 15, some people say maybe 18, but I'm going to say 15 because it's nice and a round number. 15 million votes that didn't materialize in this election. Interesting. That's all I'm going to say on it. Don't want to get in trouble. Don't want to get banned. But it's curious that in the most important election, 20 million votes for the Democrats disappeared. Roughly disappeared into thin air. Maybe that's where they came from. I don't know. It's possible. Around the world, you're seeing people excited that America is going to have a real president. Not one, and I don't mean this in a bad way. Joe Biden was mentally incapacitated during his whole 4 terms. He had no business being elected president. But he was selected. He was appointed and put in. Kamala was appointed. And that is so anti-democracy or anti what America is that it's not even funny. And we see what happens in the long run. So all they had was to speak about misogyny, homophobic, racial. It's all about that. That's men didn't want a woman president, blah, blah, blah. Let me tell you something. I will vote for any woman that is conservative, socially and governmentally, and that is smart. And we got a lot of them in the Republican Party, a lot of them. And I would vote for them any day of the week if they were the best candidate. I care not whether it's male, female, black, white, brown, green, from Mars. I don't care. You promote the values of this country, promoting American exceptionalism, America first priorities, and you are socially conservative, pro-life, pro-religious freedom, pro the Second Amendment, I'll vote for you. Don't care. It has nothing to do with it. That's a lie from the left-wing media that's trying to convince people that something was wrong with America that voted for Donald Trump. Well, this is twice he's won, and maybe 3 times. So I don't think there's anything wrong with America. It may be wrong with your priorities. So around the world, we're seeing a lot of things. Israel went crazy. They loved the fact that Trump was back in office because they knew that they would have a friend in the White House, not someone that talks about them, yeah, I'm going to support you, and then back channels, which was going on from like October 8th on, and it's still going on. Well, you got to do this or you're not going to get this weapon system. Yeah, you pay us, but we're going to slow walk the ammunition. We're going to slow walk this. So now they've got a friend in the White House. Leaders and nations in the Far Eastern countries outside of China, obviously outside of China, because they had it in with this White House and in with the Democratic Party. They are ecstatic. Taiwan is off the charts happy. South Korea is happy. Japan is happy. They are our friends. They should be happy when a strong leader hits America. Look, America, like it or not, liberals, is a leader of the world, leader of the free world. And a moral, strong president is what the world needs from America. Because if America falls, there's no other place to run to. Run to Russia. Run to the Middle East. Run to Europe. They're in far worse shape than we will ever be. America is the light shining on a hill. So let me bring you to a sad point here as I close up, and this deals with Israel. And I'm praying that Donald Trump does right by Israel, supports them 100%, and no divided land. He cannot divide the land of Israel. Cannot. I want to end with a very sad note, though. In Belgium last night, after a soccer game, hundreds of pro-Hamas, and you say, well, why do you think they're pro-Hamas? Because they were carrying flags. And because when they were knocking down and beating up and terrorizing, hundreds were running around terrorizing Jewish citizens. When they were doing this, they were telling them, they were holding flags over, they were telling them to yell, "Free Palestine." They were kicking and beating it. They followed them home to their Airbnbs where they were staying in their apartments, terrorizing them. It was shameful. It was an anti-Semitic display that may be even worse than what's going on in the Middle East, because we expect it out of those that have pledged hatred, but we do not expect it out of a so-called Western democracy or a Western nation. Europe is becoming a cesspool. France, England, even Ireland, Belgium, Amsterdam, it's pitiful. It's horrible because the Muslim immigration, the radical Islamists have infiltrated and are taking over, and we are losing Western Europe. And that was the plan for the United States of America. But oh, we prayed. Christians, we prayed. We sought God. We interceded for this nation and for God to put forth a strong leader in our nation, and God has responded. And I'm going to tell you something right now, folks. We must continue to pray. We must continue to seek God. We must continue to lift up this nation and fight. You know, the Bible says to fight, and after you've done all, to stand, meaning you get ready to fight again. We don't fight in the natural. Hear me well. We do not fight in the natural. We fight in the spiritual realm. And when we fight in the spiritual realm, God in the spiritual realm hears us. Mark my words. The success of the United States of America is born out in one thing and one thing only. A moral people that will speak moral issues, that will pray about moral issues, and that will pray and intercede for this nation and the leadership of this nation. Now, I'm going to cut this off because I don't want to go too long, but I'm going to be back in a few days, maybe tomorrow, maybe later today. I don't know. But I want to come back and talk about the agenda that Trump should have, must have, and that the Congress of the United States, the Senate and the House, must 100% get behind him. And it would be so easy to transform this nation in the next 4 years, to make it a nation where, quite honestly, we'll have more defections from the Democratic Party, because the Democratic Party is going to moan and groan and drag their feet. But the Republicans, hopefully, and with prayer, they better begin to rule and govern according to the American Constitution and foundational principles that made this nation great. That, my friends, is what America, and that, my friends, is what the world needs. Absolutely, positively. I say in every podcast I leave, and it is so true, if God didn't think you could be a voice and a light in this time, you would have been born in another time. But he chose you to be in this period of time. Why? Because you got what it takes. You were born for such a time as this. God bless.